I realize Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong.
Hi, welcome everyone. That was Amber Rose. For those who are not familiar with her, there is a lot to be said about this lady and what she represents, what she holds to. But I want to discuss some things with you. What will it take for Christians to look at the situation with Donald Trump biblically? And what I mean by that is, how far can he go with what he pushes, allows, promotes, endorses, before Christians say, you know what, I literally have no candidate, and decide to take a different route, withhold from voting, write someone in, something, but not settling over and over again. Okay, in many people's defense, a lot of what Trump believes was held and suppressed from the public eye in many ways, because a lot of people got their information about Trump from obviously biased groups such as Fox and the rest of them, the same way CNN and all of them have their biased view, never giving you the full story. But I want to discuss some concerns that should be starting to come into people's minds as they see things for what they are. And that's some of the people that Donald Trump has behind him financially, those that he uses to speak on his behalf, such as Amber Rose and many others. He claimed over and over how he was anti-abortion, referenced or made inferences indirectly how he kind of pursued traditional marriage and so forth, but the reality is he doesn't. He still capitulates to a number of weeks that you can murder your child in the womb. He is in no way, when you look at the historical political realm, has he been against the LGBT movement or the way it pollutes society, and it just continues to get worse and worse. And this goes all the way back to his first election, when he had Peter Thiel speak for him. Peter Thiel is the PayPal co-founder, who has quote unquote, he's proud to be gay, and endorsed Donald Trump back then. And the interesting thing is, even his new vice president, his pick, has ties to Peter Thiel, conveniently. Looking at a USA Today article, and you can look this up for yourself. This USA Today, J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel. I'm sure you'll get the full article, but just an excerpt from it. It said, when J.D. Vance first met Peter Thiel in 2011, Vance was, at that time, he was a student at Yale Law School, a venture capitalist, gave a speech at the university criticizing modern society. Vance later wrote that he was trying to find his place in a highly competitive atmosphere, and that Thiel's speech awoke something in him that made him realize he didn't want to practice law. So Vance would later go on and actually be employed by Thiel at his venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. And then more than a decade after they met, it was Thiel that helped Vance win a seat in the U.S. Senate, giving him the whopping amount of $15 million in support of his campaign. So that lets us know that not only does Trump have obvious ties to Peter Thiel and the LGBT movement, of which no true conservative especially Bible-believing Christian, would see as a good thing. But his front runner and cohort now also has obvious debt, in a sense, to Peter Friel and anything that he might suggest. When you put that much money into someone to get them into office, you really just bought the Senate race. You just bought the seat. So that's no surprise to anyone. And then you got to understand why the big investment. And it's because I believe that these people continue to speak out of both sides of their mouth. They'll say they are against certain things, while in the backdoor room in deals, they have no qualms, and in many cases actually support that movement. And so just think about that when you look at J.D. Vance. Understand Trump has deep connections to movements that are contrary to Scripture, nature, the founding of society. And we'll begin by looking at our next concern is we'll look at lady last name's Dillon, and then Amber Rose. We'll get you some more context on her to see these are people he chose to speak on his behalf. And you heard in the little clip with Amber Rose how this is my kind of people, and she belongs with that party, and that should be eye-opening to those who are keeping up with the politics and may still think there's a legitimate truth to how it takes place. So the first clip is the longest of the clips. I butted some together to let you see a few different things. So we'll let it start to speak, and I may let it run mostly through. I may pause as we go through and let you see some of the people that are speaking for Trump and his campaign.
It is an honor as a Sikh American and the Vice Chair of the California Republican Party to share a prayer from my faith tradition, Sikhism, the fifth largest religion in the world. Ardas is a Sikh prayer appealing to the one God above for protection and guidance, a reminder to uphold the Sikh and American values of humility, truth, courage, service, justice for all, and gratitude for all that our Creator has given to us. A Sikh always covers her head when offering this prayer. तू ठाकर तुम पे अरदास जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास तुम मात पिता हम बारक तेरे तुमरी कृपा में सुख कनेरे कोई न जाने तुमरा अंत.
I do want to note quickly this first part is where she's actually spoke twice now. Once in 2016, and then again in 2024, on behalf, served as a prayer, prayed during the RNC convention. So we'll let it finish out.
ऊंचे ते ऊंचा भगवंत सगल समगरी तुमरे सूत्रधारी तुम ते होए सो आज्ञाकारी तुमरी गत मित तुम ही जानी नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी. Dear Waheguru, please bless these delegates from all over this great nation you have created with the integrity to perform faithfully our sworn duty to nominate leaders to take America in the right direction. Please protect us from evil and create prosperity for all Americans. Waheguruji, please give us the courage to make the right choices, to make common cause with those with whom we may disagree, for the greater good of our nation. Waheguruji, forgive us our shortcomings, our oversights, and the times when we may fall short of fulfilling the roles that you have chosen for us. Nanak naam chardi kala tere pane sarbat pala, which means, through our prophets, teachers, and spiritual guides, may your name forever grow, God, and may your spirit be exalted, and may all humanity prosper by your grace. Thank you.
I just want you to, if you're not familiar with Sikhism, she said I'm a Sikh American. I know in America that could probably be a long-running joke, but what a Sikh is, or Sikhism, it's classified as an Indian religion or Dharmic religion, and it's grouped in with Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism. Sikhs believe they're monotheistic. So Islam's monotheistic, different God. The Jews even don't reject the revelation of God in Scripture, but they're monotheist. Sikhs believe there's one God, and here's what's interesting about this one God that they serve. This God is genderless and eternal. They refer to God as Waheguru, or as you've heard her pronounce in the prayer, and that is who Donald Trump, who professes to be a Christian, holds his Bible up, shows it off to people. Recently actually sold a Bible that they had put together with, I think it's the Constitution, Bill of Rights and stuff in the back of the Bible, which I don't necessarily see a problem with that per se. I really don't, as long as you rightly divide the two things. As far as the law of the land versus the true law and desire of God. Now, this is who Trump picked, and I wanted this in the earlier clip in 2016. I didn't want to play through the 2024. She says the same prayer and different things. But did you notice the crowd? That kind of stood out at me, that all of these people, I don't know if they were praying to the Lord above. I don't know if they were just bowing their heads and closing their eyes just for the sake of doing it or what, but the fact that the majority of the people you see were bowing and praying to a completely different God, if they were Christians or in any way looking like they were, abstain from the appearance of evil, is also something we ought to do. It should be telling, and it should be concerning. But in this day and age, I see less and less people being concerned. The paradigm of society has shifted so far in one direction, in a bad direction, that I don't foresee anything absent from a supernatural intervention that will sway this nation from its course into depravity. I really, really don't. Politics isn't going to do it. None of that. But so this is one concern. Well, we've already spoken two concerns: Peter Frill's connection with Trump, and now with his more open admission that he supports the LGBT more so than what he has in the past, as far as what's being revealed with Peter Frill. And others, and the fact that he has a very wish-washy stance on abortion. But if you'll notice, Trump, like many others, they'll be what you need them to be. If they're at a conservative, Bible-believing venue, a truly conservative, they'll be that person. If they need to be more woke and liberal to try and draw some votes or money or whatever, that's what they'll be. So Christians need discernment, because we have sick, literally pagan religions now praying over the conventions, something that's very new in the course of the country, and people not even professing Christianity whatsoever, to a group that by and large professes to be Christians, if you see different surveys and the way it's spun. All right, so now we're going to look on at Amber Rose here, somebody that should be very concerning. and to see how wonderful she was embraced and accepted at the RNC, as well as just who is she? Is she somebody who exhibits godly character, godly traits, godly views? The answer is no, no, no. Be real careful when you research her. Just an advisory warning, because she is a self-professed slut by her labeling, not someone else's. She created a thing called Slut Walk, and to end slut shaming. You know, slut basically is the equivalent to whore, somebody who has no moral boundaries when it comes to their sexuality. And she appears all throughout the internet. She is happy to be nude, partially nude, whatever. So just be careful. And this is, you even see in the clips, that she essentially looks like she paints her clothes on to make sure that it be as revealing as possible, even when fully dressed. Former stripper, all around bad role model for Christians. And this is who Donald Trump chose to speak on his behalf. So she is anti-Christian. She's not just an atheist. She is anti-Christianity, and she's pro-Satanism, as you'll see in different discussions and clips. But we'll let her speak her view of Jesus, Christianity, and so forth. And I'll let you hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
I do not believe in God, no. I'm an atheist, for sure.
Not a Satanist.
I'm not a Satanist, no.
And there is a distinction.
Satanists are just, they're atheists as well, but they're just more political.
Okay.
They have like it's actually a very rational, logical religion. I just believe in science. I believe in evolution. I don't believe that God, gave us Jesus as his son from a virgin mother. And I definitely don't believe in the Bible. I think it's like cool stories, but I don't believe in most of the stories in the Bible. A lot of Christians that I have met throughout my life, I found to be very delusional and liars. And so that's what initially started me.
Pause right there for a second. The fakes, the frauds, and the phonies like Benny Hinn do contribute to a lot of the slanderous views and incorrect views on Christianity. So I agree that particular so-called professed Christianity is something we in no way support, because they are fakes and frauds, and unfortunately they do help push people away from the Lord. That's the truth.
Into looking into atheism. Not to say that every Christian is like that, because I don't believe anything is a monolith. But I realized that I was an atheist, and I think there's no evidence that a God exists. It's just people believe it, and then it becomes true for them. But there's no evidence that a God exists at all.
Do you believe in hell?
No.
So when you die,
I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe the devil exists. I don't believe in any. I believe that they're fictional characters, and this is probably gonna make people really mad, but I believe that Jesus was a cult leader. I mean, just think about it, Jason. Live, by my word. Do as I say. I'm a selfish God. I'm, spread the word around the world about who I am.
the church community is somewhere throwing Bibles at the script.
But they don't have to, because that's my belief, right? I'm not throwing anything at them for their beliefs. You're not throwing anything at Muslims for their beliefs. We all believe in different things. Didn't God kill like everyone on earth except for Noah?
All right. So you get to see her views on Christianity, on Jesus, on the Bible. I gave you just the top part of a picture just to show this is her with her sign that says strippers have feelings too, Amber Rose Slut Walk. Literally taking the shame out of being a whore, which the reason there's shame there is God has written parts of his law into our conscience to include feeling shame when we do things that are wrong, but she wanted to take away the shame. And it's a very sick and perverted movement from a sick and perverted mind that now is a avid, allegedly Donald Trump supporter, which she wasn't back when he got elected the first time.
YouTube channel, like the
So we're going to look right here at an excerpt. You can look on her YouTube channel, put in Amber Rose Satanist interview, and you should find it's not quite an hour long, but close. Hard to sit through, to be honest. It's not anything I would recommend, but if you want to watch the entirety of it, she's interviewing the spokesman for the Satanic Temple, and you'll see in this how she promotes everything that she speaks of the Satanic Temple has a positive reaction from her, or a positive overtone, but not in Christianity. So it makes you wonder how in the world a professing Christian would pick this person to speak on their behalf. But like when I talked about Charlie Kirk and how Turning Point and he support the LGBT, but yet call themselves conservative. I don't care. In any man's reasonable world, it's got a biblical worldview, you'll never be able to square that circle. It just shows that you're just left. You're just the left from 20 years ago, but you're still left. You're not conservative at all, and that's what you find in a lot of these people. They're conservative in name only, nothing but a tradition to them. Maybe their dad was so-called Republican conservative, and his dad was, so they just roll with the traditions and they don't look at anything discerningly anymore. So listen to some of this.
comments are going to go in on me. But I'm okay with that. I'm good. Because you know what? I just feel like there's so many people out there like me that are just scared to say how they feel. And again, when I met the Satanists on Clubhouse, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. How come more people don't know about this? Is there a chapter in LA? I want to go talk to people. Like, I want to just learn more and feel like maybe I belong somewhere, because I'm so secluded in my atheism out here, and there's no community. You know what I mean? There's no other like-minded people. And then, Satanism just, I've been abused. I've been tortured by people. And I got to the point where I was like, it's time for me to be selfish. I have to be selfish. That's the only way that I'm going to survive, is if I put myself first. Then I meet this Satanist and he's like, Satanism is all about self. And I was like, this is amazing. And so here we are talking now, because I'm like, this is great.
So you heard from her own mouth how she just really loved to just put this positive spin on her experience with Satanists. And if you look, it's so contrary to what she said about Christianity. If you do go watch that clip, she said a lot of other things. How Christians were supposed to be nice, and by people telling her that she's going to go to hell, that's just not nice. Well, Christians are to be loving, and sometimes being loving is telling you that, hey, meth will kill you, playing in traffic's a bad thing, don't climb giant trees with no safety harness. That's things that may not be nice. Don't sleep around with just whoever you want. There's could be possible consequences, STDs, unplanned pregnancy, etc. But her whole view of things is literally upside down and backwards from what we see in the Bible as far as what's right or wrong. And when you watch her actual speech from the DNC or RNC, what was really telling for me was how she was just lauded and applauded by those there. And go watch the full clip if you want to. It's easy to find online. A bunch of people put it up. But just the reaction, how Trump's just smiling. Mike Johnson is smiling. Everybody's smiling. Tucker Carlson, I think, is the only one that kind of had more of a somber look on his face, and whatever you might feel about him, maybe he was the only one that saw a problem with it and just chose to keep his mouth closed on it. But I mean, really, just think about this lady who is very pro-abortion, loves Satanists, despises Christianity and what she thinks it stands for, is a spokesman chosen by Donald Trump and his crew. Room to thought. I'll just butt up that last video instead and let you watch it all the way through and watch the crowd, watch their reaction, look how they are just loving it, and be discerning, because like Miss Dillon at the beginning, if you noticed in her non-Christian prayer, she made sure to use some Christian concepts to include on the very last closing note, speaking of the God's grace, in her sense, her God. But these politicians will absolutely use Christian lingo all day long to trick you, deceive you, and to get something out of you, while at the same time supporting and passing law and legislation that goes contrary in every way to what we see what is right, holy, and good. And before we go, I'm going to close in a couple of scriptures. Remember in Proverbs 6, 16 through 19, one of the things that God hates is hands that shed innocent blood, which every single person involved in abortion is guilty there by their participation in whatever part, if it's done willingly by all parties. And in your Bible, in 2 Corinthians 6, 14 through 16, it says, "Be ye not unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord has Christ with Belial?" Speaking of Satan. "Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel or an unbeliever? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For you all, plural, ye are the temple of the living God, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." Peter says something here that we should take seriously. 1 Peter 1:13, "Wherefore gird up your loins, the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation or behavior. Because it is written, Be ye holy, for I am holy." And to speak on something that maybe you're caught up in, you're trapped in tradition. You just think you have to do what mom and dad did because mom and dad did it, even though the Republican Party has went down the toilet. Jesus had a lot to say about traditions, how traditions can get in our way. Traditions, religiously and otherwise, can make us blind to the things we need to see. And when it comes to Scripture, traditions is very blinded. Look at the denominational problem, where people practice a lot of things or preach a whole lot of things that aren't from the Bible, and they'll defend those traditions more so than they will the Bible itself. And it's in Mark 7, verses 6 through 8, when the Pharisees asked, why did the disciples not keep the tradition of the elders? Jesus answered and said unto them this, Well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. We see that all over the place, where people use Jesus in any way they think it's profitable to them. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other things such as you do. And he said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. And that's what I see in a lot of this, is just tradition that people refuse to change, refuse to break from, to try and do the right thing. So what is it going to have to do before people at least acknowledge nothing about Donald Trump personifies Christianity? If you ever hear him talking about his faith, what little I have actually heard when he's more directly answering is he talks about how he does good things. He is a good person in his eyes. You don't see anything about how Jesus died and paid for my sins, and I place my faith in him and him alone for any and all hope of eternal life or salvation. It's just another works-based speech from anything I found. Maybe you've seen something different. Me, myself, I have yet to see one. So I will butt up a clip of Amber Rose's speech to let you see how welcomed this self-professed slut, ex-stripper, lady who is very pro-abortion, very pro-promiscuous lifestyle, is received. And it's wild to see just how they just ate it up. I mean, they just ate it up. So I feel there's a lot of people who just need to wake up to the reality of the situation. There is no hope in the political parties. There's hope in Christ. Maybe we should start praying now, since it is something we should have been doing all along. Send us somebody besides all these obvious frauds. Maybe if we did that, the Lord would raise up and send us somebody other than these obvious frauds. But either way, however it goes, and I do want to add, be on watch between now and the upcoming election. We've already had the horrible event of the sniper attempting to assassinate Trump. I don't think it's going to calm down between now and 2024 into 25, which a lot of the Luciferians have said is a goal date, a milestone. So maybe prep up a little bit, prepare a little bit, pray a lot, and preach Jesus. And that is something that we know that has eternal benefit. So with that, I want to say take care and God bless. Till next time.
Hello, my name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children. But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump President of the United States. Now, you may be wondering why I'm up here telling you this. I'm no politician, and I don't want to be. But I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies, so I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse. And I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. Thank you. Love you too. I never felt more free and more love for my country than I do now. I want to thank my father, who's in the audience tonight, for opening my eyes. He served over 20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service, Dad. Where's he at? I love you, Dad. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. When I met the president and Melania for the first time, he was kind and generous and funny as hell. Very funny. The First Lady was gracious and smart with a smile that will brighten up any room. If you're watching this tonight, you know our country is in trouble. Just like me. When you go to the store and buy food for your family, you're shocked. When you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed. I know I am. And when you turn on the news, you are just exhausted. Inflation is out of control, and you know in your heart it was not like this under Donald Trump. My message to you tonight comes from a humble place. The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to put money back in our pockets and good food on our kids' plates. Yes. Or, as Trump would say, it's a vote to make America great again. Thank you so much.